all through my life, I have learned from that time on that everyone has gifts. Not everyone finds out what they are, but everyone has gifts. I will come back to that in a moment. I go on to college, I go on to university, and I study, not business at first, I study at Stanford University, medieval history and philosophy. Not very practical. And in fact, when I graduated from university, I was unemployable. No one was going to hire a young woman in the middle of an economic recession. And we had a very bad recession in the United States when I graduated from university. No one was going to hire me. So I went off to law school. Because that's what a lot of people did then. My father was a law professor. I go to law school. I hate law school. I hate law school. And after one semester in law school, remember, I'm an obedient child. I pleased my parents. After one semester in law school, I decided that I was going to quit. It was the most difficult decision I ever made in my life, because to quit meant I would have to go home, I would have to say to my mother and father, I quit. I wasn't a quitter. I was a hard worker. I met their expectations. But somehow I knew, I was 23, I somehow knew that if I didn't love what I was doing, in fact, if I hated what I was doing, then I would never make the most of my gifts. I would never find what my gifts were. And so I quit. And my parents were very concerned and disappointed. Now, I needed to earn a living. I wasn't in school anymore. So I knew how to do something really well because I had helped put myself through university by typing. So I became a secretary. I typed, I filed, I answered the phones for a little 9-person company. I didn't think the job was beneath me. I was grateful to have a job. And in that job, I learned something, I learned 2 things that were really important. The first thing that I learned, which I have never forgotten, and which has served me well as I became a leader, is I remembered what it was like to be at the very bottom of an organization. I learned that even though I was just a secretary, that I could make a difference for a customer, for example. One day, a new customer, a new client came into that little building and said he was going to give us his business, and I said, "That's wonderful, sir. May I ask you why?" And he said, "Because you." Because every time you answered the phone, I thought how pleasant you were, how efficient, and you were a reflection of this company. You will go on to be very successful in your lives. Never forget that everybody, every person has gifts, and every person can make a difference. Then I ran away to Italy and taught English for a year. You can imagine how concerned my parents were. I quit law school. I've been a secretary. I run off to Italy to teach English. This is not an impressive beginning for a leader. And eventually I went on to